Well, I got the tonneau cover for the truck so I could haul these larger models, the ones I can't get in my wife's little Kia. But that didn't really work out. I did haul a couple to the flying field, but they really didn't ride well in the back. They were safe from wind and rain with the tonneau cover, but that didn't mean they didn't just slide all over the place. So as you can see, especially the Sky Hunter's just not going to go in there with it all put together. Now the Sky Hunter does come apart. The wings actually come off, but the wing and the two tail booms and the tail section won't really fit in there because it's just not big enough. As you can easily see here, even with the wing off the fuselage, which it comes off with 4 little bolts, the wing and the tail section just will not fit. Just not going to fit. So I started trying to figure out a way to get this thing to fit in the truck somehow so I could take it flying. I just didn't trust it at all in the car. The little Kia is just not big enough. Totally not big enough. And I couldn't afford a camper cover for the truck, so tonneau cover is about as good as I could get. So the first thing I did is I went to Foam and Fabric and bought some foam rubber. I figured I could make foam rubber cradles. The piece on the bottom there is as wide as you see, wider than the other pieces. I thought I would carve out places in this for fuselages and wings and stuff to go, and that would sit in the back of the truck and keep the airplanes in place and from being damaged. There's just one little problem. So this is how far the foam idea about securing the planes in the back of the truck got. I found this foam to be extremely hard to dig out, cut with a hot knife. It was a good idea. It was just kind of a bummer to form it to what I needed to. And I did get it carved out enough to make a really good foam way for the airplanes to be put in the back of the truck. The problem with this system, it was fairly secure too, back and forth. The problem with this system is the foam could just migrate around the truck bed and cause damage. So when I saw this video on YouTube, I decided to scrap this idea and go with the Velcro. So I sort of set this foam aside for other things. I've used it in, you saw me use it in the battery compartment of the Talon, on the mini Talons, to kind of fill that compartment up so the batteries can really stay put, because I like doing aerobatics. I didn't think that's going to be probably my bane, but that's what I'm doing. So this foam idea sort of got scrapped because it just lets the thing slide around in the truck and damage the ends of the wings, this, that, and the other. Something else had to come about. And I saw this video on YouTube, and I'll put a link in the description, and you'll see what my project is modeled after. I tried to stick to their video as much as I possibly could. So that's the general idea, that once this big piece of Velcro is attached to a stiff board, the pegboard, then I'll use the straps
across models and stuff and strap it down to the big Velcro board. That's about the only way I know that that airplane is going to go in my truck. And I'm still worried about it clearing the fender wells on each side. But, got to do something. The Velcro is 51 inches wide, and I bought 2 yards of it. So, 72 inches. It's actually 74, 76. They cut it just a little bit long because the cut across the edges isn't really that straight. They're just cutting it quickly. No big deal. Their cut's probably going to be straighter than the one I'll make. Underneath it's the 4x8 sheet of pegboard, and the truck bed is 6 feet. It's 50 inches wide, and it's just 40 inches wide at the wheel wells. Wheel wells are inside the bed on this truck instead of outside the bed. So there's about 2 feet or so needs to be cut off the pegboard. Then I need to cut for the wheel wells on each side. Get that ready to be placed in the bed. And then we'll take it all and glue it together and glue the big piece of Velcro down to the pegboard. And then we'll use Velcro straps to strap everything to this for transport. Or at least that's my thinking. Well, I saw a video on YouTube. I'll put it in the link, but I'm just trying to follow basically what they did. And I think this is going to turn out really well, hopefully, and going to really set me up good and solid for what I need to do. The first cut on the pegboard was to cut it the length of the truck bed. Now that I've got that cut, 68.5 inches for my little short bed truck, I have to cut for the fender wells. But I think I'm just going to cut it all the way to the back. And the Velcro fits that with about 2 inches to spare on each side, and front to back about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. So perfect measurements on that for my bed. Now just to make the final cuts and then glue it together. Can't get much light here in the garage, so it's been cut. Notice right here the bed liner slopes up, so I decided not to try to form fit it behind the wheel wells. Actually, this side was flat, could have, but just decided not to do it. Just easier to make a straight line up through there from the front of the wheel wells all the way to the back. And then I cut the front to go behind the wheel wells. It's wider. And somehow I lucked out. There is a little bit of plastic in the corner that slopes up, but it's not going to be enough to make a lot of difference, I don't think. So there it is. Both sides. It's just cut just a little bit so it fits behind the wheel wells. So now all I have to do is glue the Velcro to it. So there's the piece of Velcro laid out on the dining room floor, loop side down, to get ready to prepare it for gluing. And just can't get all the wrinkles out of it. So I'm afraid those are going to show up on the other side, and just going to be trouble with the Velcro affixing to it. We'll have to see how that turns out. Now there's the piece of pegboard that's cut to fit the bed of my truck laid down on top of the Velcro. And now we're going to draw a chalk line around it and prep for gluing. So there's the chalk outline of where the pegboard should lay. So I'll take a piece of cardboard and lay along that line to keep overspray from getting on this part of the Velcro, and spray the inside of the Velcro with that spray 3M77 adhesive. And then we'll take the board, spray it completely with that adhesive, let the two of them dry, and then lay it down on top of that using that chalk outline as the template for laying it down, because when those two pieces touch, it's going to be all over. There ain't going to be any moving it around. And then I guess we'll have to get it up, get it over or something, and start trying to get the wrinkles out of the side that the Velcro will be attached to. We'll see when we get there. Okay, so I taped the Velcro down with blue painter's tape as best I could, and there's still some wrinkles in it. I just can't seem to get those out. Such be life. So now I'm going to put newspaper around it for keeping the spray off the floor and stuff here in my wife's dining room. Okay, there's blue painter's tape all around the chalk outline so that the black center Velcro can be sprayed with adhesive. Hopefully that'll keep it off the floor here. I guess it's my dining room too, but we rent, so we don't want to do any damage to the house. So next step is to spray that with adhesive, then spray the pegboard with adhesive, and marry the two pieces together. Bummer, the one can of spray adhesive just did the board. It's been coated, it kind of soaked into the pegboard. I had to run to the store real quick to get some more cans to do this piece. Now we're going to spray this piece, then put the two together. Now I've sprayed the Velcro with the spray adhesive and removed the newspaper and the masking around the Velcro. Now we just stick the two pieces together. Just a little worried about the hump that's risen up in the center. Just before we put the top on, we're going to try to stretch it right and left and see if we can get that out. Hopefully the two are glued together. Now we take up the blue tape, and then we'll take it to the basement where it will sit overnight, and then I'll do the fabric on the back. That's it. Hopefully it isn't stuck to the floor. We'll see here in a second. Now we're back down in the basement. It's just going to sit here for 24 hours and cure. Hopefully it will be stuck enough. The other side didn't turn out too bad. After we laid it down like it is, we picked it up to carry it down here, but we first rubbed out as many wrinkles as we could and rubbed them down on the glue. We will see tomorrow how that turns out. So the only thing left to do is cut some corners, fold the Velcro in, and glue it down. And we will be finished. It'll be about 2 days from now, about Friday or Saturday, just because of the curing time on the glue. After I do the back, that'll have to set for 24 hours. Then it'll be done. I'd say Friday. Now I've taped the outline in the center where the Velcro will wrap, and now I have to lay it out completely. Oops, like this, and spray glue from right here all the way out to the edge of the Velcro, and then fold all the edges over. And that'll pretty much do it. Just going down all the sides now, spraying the adhesive, letting it sit for 5 minutes or so, and then folding it over to the center to be affixed with the spray adhesive glue. That's one side glued down. This has had the glue applied and then applied across here. We're waiting for that to cure a little bit before we fold that over, and then we'll do that one last side there, and it'll basically be finished. One more little side to fold over after I glued it right there. Just waiting about 5 or 10 minutes for it to tack up. I got lazy and accidentally sprayed some overspray on that. I should have put a piece of paper there, but I got tired and made mistakes. Such is life. Well, that's it. I'm just going to let both sides cure overnight. I hate I did that overspray there. That'll be life. Other than that, I think it came out pretty well overall. Did the best I could. I think it'll work for my purposes. But tomorrow we'll lift it up, look at the other side, and fit it in the truck. Actually, I just picked it up so I could look at the other side, and it came out fairly wrinkle-free. And I think it's glued down to the pegboard pretty good. Don't think pegboard was quite the material to be used for this, but I did follow what I saw on the video. I think maybe a tougher wood, because even the blue tape was pulling the paper off the pegboard. So now I will actually let it sit there and cure overnight, and then we'll lay it back down on the floor and see how it holds model airplanes.
So I guess we all figured out all them times I said it's going to have to cure for 24 hours, and then tomorrow I'll do this and I'll do that. Every time I finished a step and took a video of that step, when I got finished, I had nothing to do, so I went on to the next step. I think that's pretty apparent at this point. That's just me. But as you can see, we ended up finishing the whole thing, and I vacuumed it off. It had picked up some fuzz from the particle board that was on the floor from cutting it. That's all was on the other side. There are some wrinkles in it. I'll show those completely tomorrow when we put it in the truck, and it'll be easier to photograph and stuff there. But overall, I think it came out real good for me. The cuts aren't straight. The corners aren't exactly straight. It's me. I'm a flawed human being, and my work reflects that. But overall, I think my work is quite satisfactory, at least average, I think. So I will let this dry overnight. It's 7, 8 o'clock at night now. Then after it's fully dry, we will lay it down in the floor in the basement here and see if that Sky Hunter will fit on it, and if it's going to really fit between my fender wells, or how I can right here in the basement floor where I can get around it easily, rather than just going ahead and putting it in the truck and trying to figure it all out, standing up there and reaching over the sides and all that stuff at the same time. So we will let it cure overnight, and we'll take a look at it tomorrow. Overall, I am quite pleased with it. I, again, would not use pegboard if I had to do this again. I would, because even, like I say, taking the blue painter's tape off of it, it pulled up some of the paper off the pegboard. It came loose that easily, so worried about the Velcro. But let's see what it looks like tomorrow.
Well, there it is. Cured, finished. I vacuumed it last night when it was still a little wet. I did go over it, and the few wrinkles I had, I just rubbed them out with my fingers. I really do think they came out very well. So that's basically one finished piece of flat Velcro now, with the Velcro adhered to that board. Again, I just wish I could use like 3/4 inch plywood that's really stiff and square and all that stuff, but not probably the best use for this. So let's see how the airplanes will fit on it, and we'll know if they can actually fit in the bed of my truck. The wheel wells are just a problem. Well, it's going to work. So this is kind of mocked up here on the floor. Man, I forgot I hadn't balanced the Skyhunter laterally yet. It needs 3/4 of an ounce of weight in that wing right where that's at to have it balanced laterally. But anyway, I didn't put the straps across it either. But you can see this is going to fit inside the truck with the tailgate closed. Now, the tail booms and stuff was a little tricky, to tell you the truth. They had to be kind of cocked in there so that both sides, including the end of the tail boom on that side, cleared the fender well. And still gave us enough on this side for that rudder. It's still close, and you don't really want it that close there, so that'll probably come back like this or something, so they're not touching for vibrations to cause problems. Still trying to retain a little room, but as you can see, this wing also stays within the boundary with the tailgate shut. And the tub that I use to transport all my ground station equipment, everything, also fits within the boundary. Now, the top doesn't seem to here, but you got to remember those wheel wells are slanted. It will fit. It's always gone in the truck in that position, and had a strap put around it this way to hold it against the front of the truck bed. So the only thing that's not there is the antenna tower and like the my 1.3 video setup. This whole rig here, which is quite substantial, with the big 1.3 pepper box on front of it, 1.3 on one side, 5.8 on the other. But that can be Velcroed down to that if there's room. Ooh, sweet. Looks like that can be Velcroed down right there underneath that wing. And that completely, that's my whole antenna unit, minus one tripod for it, for my 1.3, and if I want to use the 5.8 on it. Goggles do 5.8 and other things I have. Then there's the other telemetry tower, so to speak. It's got a standalone 1.2 receiver on it, but up here it's got 915 telemetry transceiver, two 433 different manufacturers and powers and stuff of two 433 telemetry receivers, and then on the back side's a 5.8 video receiver. That's also used. So that big old tripod could be Velcroed down right there. It works fine right there. Just depends on how securely this all stays. It'll have to be experimented with. And there's the top running underneath the wing. Now, I don't like it touching the elevator there, but I'm just brainstorming this stuff. So there is one more tripod that would be required, and that would be for that antenna tower. And that's this little old tripod here that can easily go right there with no problems. There's a complete loadout. It works. Now, the straps work, and the straps. We're down to talking about straps now. So originally I got this, I think this is 3/4. No, this is a 1/2 inch wide, I believe. No, it's not. It's an inch wide. If I measured on thing, it's an inch wide. I bought 15 feet rolls of this, a inch wide. And I cut, oops, should have got this together. Oh, I cut 2 straps that were 2 feet long, an inch wide, 2 feet long. Those didn't go up over the wings of the Sky Hunter. So I had to cut 2 more that were 3 feet long. So there's 6, that's 10 of my 16 feet. I did have some left of the 1-inch strapping, but it just became apparent that the 16 feet wasn't going to do it. That I was going to have to make some straps like 4 feet. So I ordered some more. Actually, I ordered 3 rolls this time. 45 feet. It comes with the loop side, which is not useful to me particularly. That's why the big piece of loop got put on the pegboard. But this is 1.5 inches wide. This is the widest I could find. So I'm probably going to cut these into some 4-foot straps. I've just got enough here I can cut straps anytime I want. And what I'm going to do with this narrower 1-inch strap is I'm going to cut little pieces like maybe this, 6 inches, those kind of things, so that when the large straps come over the top of like a fuselage down where it affixes to the Velcro, I can put some of these across it in this direction, a couple of them up through there on the ends, and make it even more secure with this 1-inch strap. So that's still going to be used. That's still going to be used. It's just going to be utilized differently. The new stuff is going to go into 4-foot, 3-foot, 2-foot straps. I'd probably leave the bulk of it uncut, so when I need little specialized straps for stuff, I'll have it. But that's the way the straps are going to be. And then for transport, the extra straps are just going to be along the Velcro underneath everything, when the ones that aren't used, and they'll just be able to be pulled out and used when they want to. But it looks to me like this is going to work. I think with the 1.5 inch straps and, like I say, putting some cross straps over them, I think it's all going to work pretty well. Now, there is one problem with the whole system. All of this could be well fixed together, but the whole thing will bounce up and down the truck. There's nothing fixing this particle board to the truck, just gravity. And I can't solve all the problems. But I think with the tonneau cover above this, this is really going to start making going back and forth to the field a lot easier for me. I need a van, but need to win the lottery first. So I guess now I drag all this stuff back off of it, and we go put the unit in the truck and see how it looks in the truck. There it is in the truck. I cut some strips and just laid them on it for use all the way to the front. all the way to the back. There shouldn't be any problems with it. So that's the end of that project. We'll be using it soon. Thank you guys so much.